So what's a syllable? You might be aware of what a syllable is, right? It's basically just building blocks of a spoken word, right? It helps us with the rhythm and pace in which a word is pronounced. So when I say syllables, I'm referring specifically to one vowel sound, right? Remember our vowels A, E, I, O, U, okay? So A, E, I, O, U, we spell it the way it is written, in the alphabets, but when I look at the vowel sound, it sounds a little different, right? So if I take a word that starts with the vowel A, for example, apple, right? The sound is A, apple, A, right? E, elephant, elephant, E, A, bill, A-E-I, B-I-L-L, bill, for I it's a. So you see the difference in the sounds, right? The letters are pronounced differently, but the sounds are different. One vowel sound. So that's a syllable. Okay. Now, where can I apply this concept of syllables? I can apply this concept of syllables in question types like spellings, right? Extremely useful. And knowing which syllable to stress and which syllable not to stress will help us in our pronunciation of the words, right? It'll improve our overall speaking efficiency, right? The language efficiency, the ability to speak correctly, pronounce words correctly, which is extremely important for fluency of the language. So if you come across spellings, then you'll know exactly how to apply this concept. Now, there are words with one vowel sound, which is one syllable. There are words with two vowel sounds, two syllables, three vowel sounds. So I want you to give me examples of words with one vowel sound. I'll put down some examples. You also can give me some examples, right? So we're going to look at words with one vowel sound. Web, bill, hot. Can you give me some words with one vowel sound? So basically I'm saying you'll have the A, E, I, O, U in that one sound, right? A, hot, a. Can you give me some example words? One vowel sounds. Stop, rush. Okay. One vowel sound. Cat, dog, horn. Okay, great. Let's move on to words with two syllables, two vowel sounds. Two vowel sound syllables. Zero, paper, money. You give me example words. Two vowel sounds, two syllables. Hello, pretend, begin. Right? Now, I'll wait for you guys to give me examples of words with two syllables or two vowel sounds. But what will help my pronunciation of the word effectively and correctly will be the stress on this syllable, right? So for example, let's take a look at these examples itself. Yeah. So these two syllable words, can you identify? Let's differentiate. Let's divide the syllables first, right? Zero. This is one syllable. This is two syllables. Paper, money. Clear? So we've differentiated. Hello, pretend, begin. Okay. So we've differentiated. Now tell me, in these words, where do you stress? So we're talking about a stressed and an unstressed syllable. So obviously a stressed syllable is where the stress is falling on that syllable, right? We just said a syllable is one vowel sound, right? So can you tell me in zero, where's the stress? Is it on the first syllable or the second syllable? Pronounce it. You've heard the word. It's a very easy word, right? It's not a difficult word at all. What do you guys think? Do you think the stress is on the first syllable or the second syllable? How will you pronounce zero? Zero. The stress is on the first syllable. How do you indicate the stress? It's just a little apostrophe thing that you put there. Okay? So stress is on the first syllable. What about paper? Paper. stresses on the first syllable. Money, stresses on the first syllable. M-O-N, money. What about these words? Hello, where's the stress? Hello, pretend, begin. Where's the stress? Can you guess? Say the words out loud. You've said hello so many times. Where do you stress? Hello, second syllable. Pretend, second syllable. Begin, second syllable. So, if I know where to stress on the word, right, my pronunciation is intact. I don't make a mistake in the way I pronounce the word because I know the stress is on either the first syllable or the second syllable or the third syllable. So we've looked at words with one vowel sound, one syllable. We've looked at words with two vowel sounds. We've also looked at what is the stressed syllable. So in zero, Z is the stressed syllable, rho is the unstressed syllable. That's the difference between stressed and unstressed. And in any dictionary, you will see this, right? So that's where the stress is. So if you're confused, how do I know which syllable I stress on? Just look for the sign in the dictionary. You'll know that's the word that you need to stress on. And if you hear the pronunciation also, you'll know that they mirror the same thing. Let's move on to words with 3 syllables, 4 syllables and 5 syllables, slightly complicated, the ones that we get in our exams, okay? So you give me example sentences for words with 3 syllables. I mean, let's take our word syllable itself, right? That's a good example. Syllable. Conference. Conference. Architecture. How many syllables is that? If you break it up actually, I don't know. If I look at the vowel sound, it seems like it's 3 syllables, but check out the breakup of that in the dictionary, wherever you saw it. See if it's 3 or 4. Conference. Think of other words. You know words. Yeah, that's 4, right? So we're looking at 3 syllable words. Industry. Yeah? The one that we usually use, computer. Other words, think employer, essential, yeah, recommend. Did I get that right? Spelling wise, you're not giving me words with environment. You're giving me 4 syllable words always as examples. Recommend would be in fact double M. Okay, no problem. 3 syllable words. Volunteer. Every day. Okay, so that's fine, no problem. When you say it, you'll know when you break it out, right? The easy way to do this is, if you look at environment, you have E, the first vowel sound, then you have I, the second vowel sound, then you have O, and then you have E again. So that's automatically 4 syllables. If you're confused, how do I break up the word? Look for the vowels. That will be, so each vowel sound is 1 syllable, right? So now we have all these words. Syllable, conference, industry. Where's the stress? First syllable. Syllable, conference, industry. These words, computer, employer, essential, the stress is on the second syllable. Computer, employer, essential. Okay, and these words, recommend, volunteer, every day, the stress is on the third syllable. Okay, just for you to differentiate. And why is this important? Because it will help us with dissecting, differentiating words. Let's quickly look at 4th and 5th syllables, and we're going to look at some questions and see how we can apply this concept of syllables in those questions. So 3 syllables we've looked. Let's move to 4 syllables. Titanium. Titanium. Okay, good one. Okay, so the 4 syllable word seems to be your favorite. Another word that we constantly keep using, comfortable. In fact, the second syllable is almost not even pronounced. If you hear the pronunciation, it's comfortable. Comfortable. You don't even have to say comfortable. Nobody says it that way. It's not pronounced. Medication. Formality. Yeah. So some 4 syllable words, right? Comfortable, the stress is on the first syllable. Medication. Also remember, when you have words ending with ity, tion, sion, the syllable before that is the stressed one. Medication, indication, right? Formality. Okay, one last one, which is the 5-syllable ones. Let's quickly look at that. What is your qualification? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you give me one example of a 5-syllable word? Examination. Super. Okay. Yeah, that's a 5-syllable word. Certification, that's a 5-syllable word. So like I said, anything that ends with tion, the stress is on the syllable just before that. Examination, certification. Okay. Anyway, qualification. So it's easy to remember the stress in 5-syllable words. So we have an idea now, right? We know that a syllable is one vowel sound, and I know my vowels, A, E, I, O, U, but when I say it, it's obviously slightly different. A, O, U, right? And we're going to see how we can apply this concept in spellings. Are you ready? Let me just portray the questions, and right after this concept, we're going to move on to elimination of options, the most challenging one. But it's very interesting if you can just apply the concepts that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so the first question that we have is, obviously these are spellings, right? And look at the options. I have dementia, quatrain, necrosis, and frenetic. Are you familiar with any of these words? Do you know the meanings of any of these words? So if I know the breakup or the syllable breakup of these words, it's going to help me. Now dementia, right? D-E-M-E-N-T-I-A is actually pronounced as sha, not shia. Dementia. Yeah. So what's dementia? Severely impaired memory loss. Yes, loss of memory. You lose your ability to reason, right? And usually this is a result of disturbed behavior. You can see this in people with disturbed behavior, like they assume certain things, right? And they forget where they've kept things. You might know somebody who has dementia. Okay. So and that happens as a result of damaged brain tissue, in fact. So dementia, that's how you break down this word, right? It's a 3-syllable word, and the spelling is absolutely correct as it is. The second one, if you know that word, right, it's actually Q-U-A-T-R-A-I-N. It's quatrain. It's pronounced as quatrain. Remember, quat and quad is usually related to which number? Anybody? You know this. Quat and quad. Which number you would relate this to? Quadruplet. You've heard of that? Let's have some answers. Quadruplet. Which number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So basically, quatrain means a stanza or a poem of 4 lines. So because I know the syllable breakup of this, there's no E there in between. It's just quatrain. Quatrain. That's it. And the third one, so obviously the second one is incorrect. Necrosis. Have you heard of necrosis? How do you break this up? N-E. Remember, can you guys try breaking this up? Can somebody break this word into the syllables and tell me how many syllables this word is? Let me see if you're able to get that right. And if you were paying attention to the syllable concept, you know that each syllable has one vowel sound. So can you tell me? And one important thing, guys, when I say one vowel sound, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will find A-E-I-O-U in those syllables. It can have the sound. Remember in the beginning, that's why I differentiated the sound. A, apple, a. So if there is the sound of a, that's one vowel sound, right? And one of the examples that I think one of you guys gave me, there was no vowel, but it had the vowel sound. So that's a 3-syllable word. That's right. Necro. However, it's not S-Y-S, it's S-I-S. Necrosis. Just like analysis and synthesis, right? It ends with S-I-S and not S-Y-S. So if I'm familiar with the suffix S-I-S, I know this is incorrect again. I need to replace Y with I. What's the meaning of necrosis, by the way? Let's say you get injured, right? And the area where you got injured, basically those cells in your body die, right? Or it results in a disease as a result of that. So necrosis is nothing but death of cells through injury. Okay, what about frenetic? Can you guys try frenetic? Break it up for me. Syllable breakup. Fourth one. Tell me how many syllables are there. Tell me how many cells are there in the fourth one. Frenetic. So it's basically F-R-E. Yes, correct. F-R-E-N-E. But it is not I-C. I mean, it's not E-C, it's I-C. Frenetic. 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 It actually comes from the word frantic. Have you heard of frantic at least? Or frenzy? To be in a frenzy means what? You know, you're wildly excited. You're doing everything like, you know, you're frantic about it. Maybe you have to be someplace, you have to attend a conference, you're late, your cab didn't come, you're acting, you know, something's gone wrong, you know, you're in a frenzy, frenetic. So it's IC and not EC, okay? So it's not frenetic, it's frenetic, frenetic. So basically what I'm trying to say is, either I know the syllable breakup, I look at the word and try and see how I can break it into syllables, but English is a tricky language, remember that, because sometimes the way I pronounce something is not the way it is spelled, right? For example, autism, that word autism, I don't start with O, it starts with AU, right? So it's very tricky that way. So the only way, one of the ways, I'm not saying this is the only way, I'm saying one of the ways in which you can eliminate wrong answer options is to know the syllable breakup of the word. Let's just do one more question and then we'll move to our second concept. Let's select the right spelling. I have 4 options: prophecy, nihilism, aesthetic, and avulsion. I don't know how many of you know the meaning of any of these words. Prophecy, I'm sure you know, right? It's not a difficult word, but if you know the word, you know the spelling is incorrect. So what's the right spelling for prophecy? Let's break it. P-R-O-P-H. That's the first syllable. And it's not S-E-Y, it's C-Y, right? Prophecy is nothing but prediction of the future. Somebody is prophesying, right? I don't know how many of you are attempting the exam. The SBI one got postponed, right? So, so I prophesy that all of you guys will, you know, I shouldn't be saying this. What if you don't? You'll come back and you'll hit me. I prophesy that you guys will clear the SBI exam, right? So, prediction about the future. Nihilism, I'm sure, is something that you probably don't know. It might be a new word, completely new word for you. But in fact, that is, see, it goes like this, N-I-H-I-L-I-S-M, right? But it's pronounced as nihilism, nihilism. So let's break it. N-I-H-I-L, nihilism, nihilism. It's a 3-syllable breakup, but it's pronounced as nihilism. So in fact, this is our answer. This is correct as it is. Like I said, we shouldn't get confused with the way it's pronounced. If I had to pronounce it, you might come back and say nihil, ni, but it's na, nai. Aesthetic, again, is not a difficult word. I'm sure you know this word. Let's break it. Aesthetic. It's a 3-syllable word. It's not aesthetic, it's aesthetic. I-C. Incorrect, incorrect. And avulsion. Aesthetic is just to have artistic ability, right? And what is nihilism? By the way, anybody? Nihilism is when you say that, hey, whatever exists is meaningless. There is no meaning to anything that is there in this world, right? So it's a belief, it's a doctrine that you think that everything is meaningless. That's nihilism. Values, you believe that values are meaningless, and basically you feel that nothing actually exists, or even if it does, it doesn't make sense. Avulsion, there is no U in avulsion. Avulsion. So this is again incorrect. Avulsion, avulsion. Avulsion is nothing but the act of pulling or tearing away. So it's not evolution, it's avulsion. Okay, I would encourage you to practice as many words understanding the syllable breakup. Now again, let me reinforce that it is not only useful for exam question types, but generally it is useful for your speaking ability, English fluency on the whole. So I would encourage you to look at words so that you know how to pronounce these words correctly. It will portray or showcase you as somebody who has a good command over the English language, right? People will know that, okay, this person knows what he's saying, he's a learned person, maybe he reads a lot, whatever it is, right? People have generally a good opinion or a higher opinion of somebody who's able to use the language correctly. Okay, so syllable knowledge on syllables breakup will go a long way, and especially focus on what is the stressed syllable and unstressed syllable, so you get the pronunciation correct, right? A lot of us make mistakes, including me, some new words, because we come across so many words that are borrowed from Greek and Latin and French, and it's very difficult to pronounce those words, right? Especially we have British words and American words spelt differently. Like for example, center, CENTRE is a British way of spelling it. CENTER is the American way of spelling it. It's important for us to know these differences. And if you've noticed, when you write these words in a Word doc, right, you'll have this red squiggly line under some words, right? It's funny because we follow the British English, and when you write CENTRE, it will show that red squiggly line as if something is wrong with that word. But it's just the British way of spelling it. CENTER, if you put, nothing will come. That's the American way of spelling the same word. In fact, one of you guys had posted a question on the discussion forum, wanting to know the difference between American and British words that have the same meaning but are spelled differently. I would encourage you to go check out that question. I think it's knowledge, information is knowledge. So expand your knowledge on that, so you don't get confused whether you're using the wrong spelling or not, right? That's a good question to understand spellings as well. All the best, guys. I will see you in the next session. Take care.